Now, let me go to what I have discussed in Daniel chapter 2. King Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Chaldees. Chaldees was a spy group. He letting us know that because this is what it tells us. Let me just break it down to word of mouth. Daniel chapter 2 reveals the image, a combo of many different metals, which comes from the earth. The head of gold, chest and arms of silver, the breast, the thighs of brass, legs of iron, feet of clay, toes, feet of clay, and part clay and part iron. This is the chemistry makeup of the military infrastructure of the United Nations, which God was telling us that these was the one that's making war with the saints of God, which they called Al Qaeda and terrorists. The gold symbolized the richest nation upon the earth, supported by, as the head is riding upon the shoulders and the breast, the next richest nation upon the earth, which they becomes United Nations, because this is silver and the gold as well. But the silver is the less wealthy of the two. But the brass is the military infrastructure, which is the commander in chief, which is these respective gentlemen who is military generals for each of these United Nations. The head, which is the head of gold, is the richest nation, which is the United States of America. They will have 4 military fighting forces, symbolized by the feet in the clay, made of clay. But the rest of the 6 horns, which is the equal to 10 horns, will belongs to the brass and the arms of silver, making a total of 10 horns. You'll find this throughout Bible prophecy. That's the reason I said I want to break this down and show you how this transcends. But however, the 4 generals that runs which is top brass, that is the leaders of these military fighting forces. First 4 of the Air Force, I got Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marine. They belong to the United States of America. So does these generals, General Petraeus, and all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you 6 more United Nations of the Gentiles, the richer nations of the world, also fighting with them. But this man is the CIA. He is the guy. Then he is the horn with the little eyes. We'll get to in a minute. Spoken of in Daniel chapter 7, 7-10. Now, that's that. Let's quickly explain to you what that head of gold is. Now, but you go to Daniel chapter 3, which is the following chapter after, you find out that there was an image made of gold, which came from the head of gold, which because the image of was made of gold, it would be the law that they God and they believe in, the law called democracy. So it would be the image of gold, because this would be in Revelation chapter 13. After Jesus went to his cross, the heaven, God will tell you they made him this, and they made that come alive, which is the law of democracy. This would be the law. They made it come alive in Daniel, but they spoke it in a different tongue. But it's the replica of Revelation chapter 13. Now, done so, this is what it was done in Iraq. This is the first war of Iraq and Afghanistan here. That's just what Daniel is all about. These 2 wars here. Now, the brass is the one over the military strategists, over the military troops. They're the one that's going to take dominion over the earth for the wrong reason and the wrong purpose. But because of the lies that the CIA is going to tell and cause them to go in and fight a race war for him, exterminate peoples, because he hate God. He hate God from the foundation of the world. Now, The CIA is the one is speaking to you in Daniel chapter 3. Where Daniel chapter 3, it was the Chaldees. The Chaldees was always a spy. It tells you he was around watching the Hebrew children, and all of them didn't bow down and worship the image, which was the law of democracy. They came and reported to them to Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel chapter 3. And done so by them reporting it, that alone tell you they were spying on them. Had they watched them, they wouldn't have nothing to tell. But they went in and they watched them, the Chaldees, and watched that the Christian people, not the Christian people, I don't want to use that term, the followers of God, who remained there obeying the covenant, he used watching them, and anyone that didn't honor the law of democracy, they was tortured, thrown in the fire of furnace, which is consistent with the year 2006, where they was finding from 40 to 200 people per night in Iraq, bound and tortured, not waterboard, tortured. And this tells us that these people was burned, according to Daniel chapter 3. It's more accurate than what they say. They're not going to put no cold water on him when they told Saddam Hussein to go straight to hell. How come he couldn't tell Saddam Hussein to go somewhere and drown? But now they told him to go straight to hell. Hell is where fire. So if that's the case, in Daniel chapter 3, when they they put them in the fire furnace, that means they was putting these people in the ovens or something over there and letting them stay until near the point of death, and then shoot them in the back of the head and dump them on the back of the street. How else would they know they was tortured? This was what I gathered from their news report. So when they refuse to show you the truth, and you have to draw your mindset into the conclusion, if a person is refusing to show you how these peoples are being killed, and so seclusive about what they do till they are not showing us what's really happening over there, we have to think that it's something more sinister going on than what we do. See, so because there's not going to show us everything so that we feel comfortable with the war, and long as we don't see blood running down the street and what's really going on there, we don't know, because something is happening. This war is lingering on so long. Instead of them making them people love them, they're making them people bitter against them. And because they are resisting them, it doesn't tell you they hate them people. They done seen something that we failed to act on and see ourselves understand. They see something very sinister, the same as our ancestors see when they was hanging us, and they was bitter towards us. We know what went on with our peoples. If they had the mindset to do this to our people, they done the same thing over there right now. There's no battle. This is the old demon. It's spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, that its head will come alive again. It once was dead. It will come alive again. It have came alive again and going with a racist hatred. And the man that's in charge, that we have in charge, see these things, and he giving them okay to continue done what was did against us so long ago. We have to use our own mirror if he don't show us what's in his. It's the most sinister thing that's happening today. That connects us with Daniel chapter 3. It's here in the Bible. He didn't say nothing about waterboard. He showed us one of the most sinister minds that was against the Hebrew children. They were putting them in the fire furnace and burning their flesh. This is what it's telling us right here. And we have to consider this. We have to use this as evidence of what they done. Now, let's go to Daniel chapter 4. All of these are the words that God is speaking before Jesus was even born. Daniel came before Jesus was born, and into his flesh, and Jesus had him 30 some more years. Jesus was crucified. So all of these spoken concerning what